Well, hi, Andy. So you came across one of these somewhere and it was going to be thrown away. You've decided to save it. To you, I say kudos. What do we got? Got us a 7548, 7000, the JDM version. Who's going to throw this away? Dial lume's pretty clean. Definitely had a working life. The hand loom does that, has that yellow sort of sunken thing that you get sometimes with moisture inside these. But none really, I mean, a little bit of the black pecks, but not a lot. I mean, it's worn, but your case lines are intact. It's interesting. Look, it even has some of the frosting around the tsunami from the original finish. October 1981. It has one battery change mark, 1984, Q2. It's possible. I don't know if that's a dent or a battery change mark. That might be a battery change mark in Q4 of 87, but it's pretty shallow. I'm not sure. Well, first things first, let's see if the old girl's got some life in her. Who's throw away a watch? I'm gonna have to get serious. I'll tell you that right now. Sure. Handy dandy diddly remover out of there. Hang on. Oh, for goodness sake, come on. Yeah, that doesn't want to move. I gotta put it in the vise. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty clean. We've got surfacing stamps in there. They don't mean anything to me. So let's pull this old battery. Well, it's intact. Boy, look at that. Look at the case back seal. Flat. Yeah, look at that. It's all nice and clean. Yep, that's all the dial loom never got in. So here we go with this. And let's drop in a new battery and let's see what we find. Brand new. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Yes, indeed. She is a runner. Someone was just going to throw this away. Crazy. Okay. Okay, we know for sure. Take this battery back out. And we'll come back in here, and let's rip it apart. No time like the present. Let's get it done. Hang on. Okay, so let's get this thing going. Get rid of that old Seiko battery. This is one of the things right here. See this rest washer? Always got to be careful about that because they're easy to lose. Most people don't realize they're a separate piece. It needs to go in there. Let's see. Hang on just 1 second for me. So now we're going to pull these last two. 1, 2. Good. There's that. 1 and 2. There's your circuit. Look at that, beautiful, fresh and clean. God, think of all the watches that have ended up in landfills. Or maybe better, don't think of all the watches that have ended up in landfills. How sad. So that is what the backside, underside of the stripped down back of the main plate works. You can see almost everything in there. Your stepper motor and all your wheels and things. And this is the hacking lever here. There's the plastic hacking lever. It stops the wheels here. This disconnects the circuit. Yeah, somebody had a question in the other day on a Sunday talking about these watches and how they, they seem to be built like a real diver's watch. Oh, they're 100% built like a real diver's watch, like no joke. This one never got any serious water inside. All the water that came inside got in, it was condensation. Because you don't see any corrosion of any kind on this ring. I'm kind of being silly here. Okay. The one Achilles heel with these is that they, the center wheel, the port for the center wheel is not jeweled. And so because these things can run so reliably for all these years, even though the train is not stressed, it's not like constantly pushing, every single time it ticks, it pushes the hands around just enough that it does wear. And if you look, you can see the whole hand stack is going like this. So that's going to require jeweling. I'm just seeing how the calendar sets. Come on. There we go. Yeah, look at that, right at midnight. Cool. Let's do it. Come on, out, out. Static electricity, not your friend. Come on. Okay. It's interesting because you can see the hands on the back. The lume is still bright and white. So the key is then to make the front look like the back. Now I'm going to pull the dial. What did we say? It was October, yes? 1981, yes? Ah, you see, it's because it's late enough. By the time that transition from, from when all the 6309s, all that production got shifted down to Hong Kong, they stopped dating their dials. So you will see no date. Doesn't mean anything. It is what it is. It's just something I like to look at. There's the front of your movement. Come on, come on. Close it up. Close up that gap. There we go. All right. Yep, nice and clean. The little date dog guard, and here is the big one. A little hazy, but it's funny, you can see the original lubrication too. Come on, out, out, out. Yeah, it looks pretty nice inside. It really does. Sad thing is, it would have gone into the garbage, and it would have stayed probably pretty nice down in the dirt. Archaeologists are going to be finding wristwatches for generations. Out. Imagine all the things that they're going to find down in our waste piles. There you go. Setting lever with wheel. A ridiculously, strangely complicated piece of machinery they did. This is the thing that flicks back and forth to change the date. That feels good. Sometimes when these wear, they start to get like a ridge on the inside circumference of that thing, and it starts to bind up. And you don't see that here. Cannon pinion. Well, nothing to it but to do it. Gotta rip this thing the whole way down. If I'm gonna jewel that thing, I've gotta take it apart. That's just the way it is. There it is. Just like magic. Old gross remains of lubricant on there. All dried up. I don't see any corrosion on that. That's good. That's your little hacking lever. Okay. That was your stepper motor. Oh, the many uses of Rotico. Here we go. here is your center wheel bridge. And there's your center wheel. Gluey. Yep, gluey. You got some grossness going on there. Yeah, you can definitely see that's ovaled out. That's not a surprise. It really isn't. Okay. What do I have left? There's that. Let's take your stem apart. One. Oh, stop it. 2, 3, and now the trick. We gotta get that male stem out of that crown. You have to use heat. I always say this every time because I'm always afraid that someone is going to try to snap that thing out without using heat, and they're gonna break their male stem and they'll lose the stem and the crown. Because that's what happens. You gotta heat it because Seiko glues those in place. Or glued. That warmed up. And it comes right off. Comes right off. The heat seeps through. You don't stress your male stem. And it comes right off. That is the way to do it. Cool. Now I gotta get that crown out. I'm sorry, the gasket out. Yep, that's the way to do it every time. And if it doesn't go, if you can't get it to move, heat it some more. There's your crown gasket. There's your crown. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to do things off screen. Basically, I'm going to come back when I'm ready to start timing it. There shouldn't be any surprises at this point. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to jewel that main port right in there and then put it back together and start timing it. Oh, though I suppose I can do this. Let me put this away. That goes there. This goes there. Like that. This goes there. That goes there. Here's your old crown gasket, which you can look at when I get it done. Oh, look at that. That's why you always do this over a surface that you can look at. Look, there is your click ball. There's your click ball. And your spring. These are crimped in place. I'll work on getting that spring out. Wow. Your rotating ring gasket is hard as a rock. Came out in pieces. Again, you'll get to play with that. Dirty. I'm gonna have to hand clean that. I'll have to hand clean all of this stuff. I'm on. Yeah, we got some corrosion. Okay, so I'm gonna have some corrosion remediation in here. Hopefully your crystal retaining ring has not cracked. That's what happens. You get all this corrosion in here like this, and corrosion expands because you're adding basically the steel gets larger because it's adding material when it's oxidating. Yeah, this is actually cracking. It's cracking right there. Right there. I can see it. There's a crack right there. So I have these. I'm probably going to have to replace that. Anyway, rust expands, and when it does in really tight clearances like this, it can split these retaining rings. And that is what we've got here. There's your old crystal. Just like nothing. You'll get that back and you can play with that all you want. Oh, come out, 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 out. Wow, that is good and stuck in there. Come on. You'll be able to look at that too. You got that part, that goes in there. And last but least, here is your beautiful condition chapter ring. So there you go, man. There's your case. But look, it held. It held. A little bit of rust in there. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to go through and basically hand clean all of this stuff. I'm gonna have to take all this down. If I don't have to replace this, I won't, but I'm gonna have to clean it and look at it really, really closely. But whatever, the important stuff is all there, and we're gonna do it. Okay, you're gonna see me when I come back when we're time testing. Okay, I'm fresh on the time grapher. I haven't adjusted anything yet. So I'm going to give it a little tweak here, one way or the other. And put it back and reset. Wrong way. Watch this turn into be one of these ones where it's impossible for me to get as tight as it was. Reset. I'm really enjoying this, actually. The way it's worked out and the way that it came out, I'm actually really pleased with and really proud of. It works beautifully. It's rare for me to see a ghosted bezel that works as nicely as this watch does. I'm very glad I was able to clean the hands up. Get greedy, but I barely moved it. I might not even moved it at all. I'm real tempted to accept that because these, I find that as quartz movements run in, as lubrication slops around, is they'll drop. Yeah, I don't think I touched that. So that's 7/100ths of a second per day. That's real accurate. And I fully do expect this to tighten down just a little bit. It's nice and steady too. Okay. I'm gonna let that do its thing, and then I'll come back after I sort of watch the numbers and everything, and we'll do a final. And so here it is. And to think someone was going to toss it. Talk about saving something from just a fate worse than death. Let me get some more light on this. I'm very pleased with how this came out for a couple of reasons. It cleaned up nicely. It helps that the case is original and the lines are original, and that it has wear but no abuse. It came out well in just it's nice and functional and clean. Oh, and clicky, by the way. Nice strong clicks on your clicky thing. Your quick ball is still loose in the sense that it's only being held in the case by the rotating ring, but that's perfectly fine. It'll stay in there forever. Just, it's something to be aware of if you ever need to, you know, pop the bezel off. The cleaning of the lume, I'm super happy with. Get this up here. It's still a little darker, just a hair darker than the dial. But the nice thing is that my treatment, I revitalumed them, and that's all the original lume. It just got rid of that green tint from, you know, the minerals, the metals that leached into the lume there. I was able to clean the surface of the hands, so they're much more reflective. They were hazy inside of gross. The lume on the minute hand is a little sunken. That's how it came in. That's what happens when it's this kind of hand lume damage, which is from long repeated exposure to moisture condensation on the inside of the crystal. But the nice thing is, because it got rid of that green tint, look at that. You got actually a little bit of tan lume in there. You know, this is, I sometimes talk about this, though it gets a little mystical. You know, watches feel differently to me. You know, I can get a different sensation in many ways from, you know, a whole bunch of different variants of the same one. I'm sure everybody has something like that. Some watches feel kind of neutral. Most watches feel just like, you know, neutral. They're fine watches or whatever, but they don't move me in any way. Some watches, I don't know, or bad is the wrong word, but some watches, they're just that there's some combination of elements that just doesn't work for me. Then there's watches that are just the other, they're good watches. This is a good watch. And I'm usually not one for these sort of faded bezels, but it works so well with this watch, and it's so clearly original. I went back in and I fiddled with it just a hair. Okay, that I'm going to live with. And speaking of original, you sent along something for me to put this on, and I'm going to do that now and then come back. So I put it on the bracelet you sent along. Genuine Seiko original Z199. See right there? Z199. Z199. It's the greatest bracelet Seiko ever made. It's most comfortable, best made, just an exquisite bracelet. And this one is worn in almost the same exact way as this, where it's been worn and used, but it wasn't abused. So it looks like it's been on this watch forever. It's full length, look at that. All the extra links are in there. Isn't that amazing? This is a mariner's watch. This is a watch that lived a full and exciting life. I mean, you have to really be encountering a bunch of stuff to have a bezel ghost like this. This isn't something somebody did for fun. This happened to the watch, but the watch was never abused. It works so nicely. All the case lines are there and clean. It wasn't bonked around or banged around. The knurling on the rotating ring is still sharp. It's a beautiful watch, and it works. It works so well on its own. It's a great watch. It's very special. Hard to believe this watch almost ended up in the junkyard. You know, out in the scrap heap, out in a landfill somewhere. Wouldn't that have been a crime, huh? This watch in a landfill. Well, Thank you so very, very much for sending this in, and I look forward to getting back to you. Oh, just an addendum. I have, this is your crystal and couple of your gaskets here, and your crystal retaining ring. I decided to swap that out. It has enough question marks around it that let's just use a better one, and so that's what I did. This has a new rotating ring. I'm sorry, a new crystal retaining ring snapped on and in place. So you'll get that back. It's still technically usable. Don't get rid of it. But yeah.